the tension behind the scenes of Formula One is heating up again. This time, the spotlight is on Lewis Hamilton, who has surprisingly detected signs of betrayal from his new team, Ferrari. Rumors are circulating that Ferrari and Red Bull boss Christian Horner have struck a secret deal which could change the competitive landscape this season. Is it true that Ferrari is being two-faced with Hamilton? Let's discuss it. Something unusual is happening at Ferrari. There's no major uproar or open conflict, just a suspicious calm. There has been no official statement, no public clarification, and not even a firm denial. Just silence. But in Formula One, silence isn't neutral. Silence is the language of politics. Now, that silence is starting to convey a dark message that only those who have experienced the sport for a long time can understand. Lewis Hamilton is one of them. When Hamilton signed with Ferrari, he brought more than 7 world titles and incredible speed. He brought a vision and a mission. For Hamilton, Ferrari isn't a last-ditch effort, but rather the foundation upon which to build a new legacy. A legacy that speaks not only of victories on the track, but also of transforming the culture and values. However, that vision is now under threat. Surprisingly, the threat doesn't come from Red Bull or Mercedes, but from within Ferrari itself. Rumors that hadn't yet made the front pages began to echo in the paddock. A name was being mentioned again in whispers that didn't want to be heard aloud: Christian Horner. To Lewis Hamilton. Christian Horner was more than just an old rival. He was a haunting shadow of the past and a symbol of unhealed wounds. The public might remember the 2021 season as an epic battle between two great drivers, Hamilton and Verstappen. But for Hamilton, it was the darkest year of his life. It tested not only his speed, but also his mental, emotional, and physical limits. Behind the scenes, Horner played his role with the precision of a general on the battlefield. He attacked Mercedes' strategy and Hamilton's personality with sharp words, structured narratives, and calm yet compelling body language. At every press conference and media session, Horner questioned Hamilton's driving style, his position as an icon, as a symbol of diversity, and as a champion. But in his silence, there was resistance, there were principles, there was unwavering discipline. Still, the wounds remained, buried, smoldering silently. Now, imagine the nearly impossible scenario of Hamilton and Horner, two former rivals, being forced to work together, not as rivals, but as teammates, not in open combat, but rather in a more complex internal dynamic. They would have the same logo on their chests and the same goals on the track, but they have a history too dark to forget. This wouldn't be a partnership. It was a conflict waiting to happen. It was a new chapter that not even the perpetrators wanted. It was a time bomb that could explode at any moment. This issue was no longer about the past. It was about the present and, more importantly, Ferrari's future. Once a symbol of dominance, the legendary team now finds itself at a crossroads. Fred Vasseur, whom Lewis Hamilton initially believed would be Ferrari's future architect, is now under pressure. Slowly but surely, his position is being shaken. The Italian media, once supportive, is now attacking him. They're calling him weak and directionless, and accusing him of failing to take Ferrari to the next level. More suspiciously, this storm of criticism coincides with the most sensational rumor of the season. Christian Horner, the Red Bull boss, who is facing internal tensions, is reportedly starting informal communication with Ferrari's top brass. No contract, no official announcement. In Formula One, however, all major decisions begin with small talk in paddock corridors, closed door, boardrooms, or even at secret dinners in Monte Carlo. Hamilton knows how this game works. He has lived through Formula One's tough and unpredictable political landscape for a long time. Now he sees the same pattern playing out at Ferrari. First, delegitimize the current leader. Vasseur's credibility was undermined. Second, introduce a stronger, more promising alternative. Third, let the media sway public opinion and create external pressure. These aren't a series of coincidences. It's a subtle maneuver, a quiet coup being executed behind the scenes. Hamilton joining Ferrari is more than just a career move. He has a much larger mission: to transform Ferrari from within. He brings diversity, inclusion, and new hope to a team known for being conservative and resistant to change. Red isn't just a color for Hamilton. He wants to give it new meaning. Ferrari will be a symbol not only of past glory, but also of an inclusive and modern future. However, Horner is not idealistic. He's a leader who builds a team around him, not for discussion, but for obedience. Horner's vision is one of total control, rigid structure, and absolute efficiency. There is no room for dual leadership, no compromise. If Horner joined Ferrari, Hamilton knew exactly what it meant. His dream would die before it was even born. The situation was entering its most critical phase. There were no shouts, there were no fights in the Ferrari garage, but the atmosphere had clearly changed. The mechanics' gazes were stiffer than usual. The engineers' conversations were shorter, as if they had to filter every word before speaking. Technical meetings now took place in oppressive silence. Even a half-second radio delay felt like an eternity. Something had shifted, not in the engine, but in the sense of trust, and that was far more dangerous. The team was now at a crossroads. Hamilton's vision of Ferrari lay on one side, collaborative, value-filled, and humanistic, based on trust and synergy. On the other side loomed Horner's vision of Ferrari, centralized, cold, efficient, and brutal. Two opposing philosophies. In Ferrari's history, only one voice could win. Hamilton no longer waited for clarification. He read the situation, analyzing the subtle cues invisible to the cameras. Body language, long silences, glances, he knew the signs. In the world of Formula One, which is driven more by political intrigue than by pure speed, Hamilton knows one thing. He is no longer the architect of this project. He is merely a pawn, losing the game. Ferrari has not made an official statement. There has been no announcement or clarification. But the body language in the paddock, the demeanor of the top brass, and the tone of conversations behind closed doors have spoken volumes. In Formula One, when trust begins to evaporate, all that remains is a countdown. It's not a matter of if, but when. Lewis Hamilton arrived at Maranello with high hopes and ambitions, a mission to revive Ferrari's long-lost glory. Now, however, it seems he is the one being pushed aside, drowned by internal dynamics and a vision that was never truly shared with him. He is not part of the plan. He is merely a symbol of a narrative. If Christian Horner were to take over Ferrari, perhaps the Italian manufacturer would win more races. They might become a winning machine. However, they could lose something far more precious: their identity, integrity, and soul. For Hamilton, this is the most painful form of betrayal. It's not about losing on the track or failing to win the title. It's about realizing that, from day one, his wholehearted dream for Maranello was never fully embraced. His passion was ultimately considered mere decoration in a larger power play. Could this betrayal change the course of Ferrari's future and Hamilton's career? Let us know what you think.